Alrighty, we are recording, and I'm so excited to have Courtney Matthews on Double Diamond. And we just have a few questions, actually only 5 questions. We don't want to hold you guys long since it's a little bit later. So the first question for you, Courtney, is how did you find out about It Works, and what were you doing before you got started?
So how did I find out about what It Works? Turn my phone over because I'm so easily distracted. I found out about It Works through Ashley Goggins. So I know you guys are probably familiar, Triple Diamond. Ashley and I just kind of always ran in the same circles, so to speak. We went to the same hair salon. We were friends on Facebook. We were friends on Instagram, Twitter, so on and so forth. And I just knew her, just to give you a little background, my kid's dad and Ashley share the same godchild. So it's like, we just all kind of ran in the same circles. And I knew Ashley had went to school to be a lawyer. I saw when Ashley started a photography business. I saw when Ashley started the credit bar. And so when I saw her doing this, I had no idea what It Works was. I had absolutely no clue what this was. I just continuously saw her posting about making extra money and how, I even vividly remember her showing a picture of, how we do now. We have the It Works card in our hand, and she was paying for like MAC products. And I was like, I want to pay for MAC products. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so simple. But, I was on maternity leave at the time. It was October 2016, and I was on maternity leave at the time, and I had a little extra money saved up, and I was like, I wanted to invest in something, and I saw her posting about making an extra $500, and she got me with the post. I got 5 spots left on my team. I never forget, she had the picture up like this, 5 spots left, and I was like, I'll message her, see what it takes to join. And I literally messaged Ashley on a Sunday night, and we met the very next day, and I signed up, and the rest was history. And prior to It Works, I had been working in corporate America for an insurance company for 8 years. So pretty much like right out of high school. I didn't go straight out to college. Right out of high school, I started working for an insurance company, and that's what I thought I'd be doing for, until I retired.
Yeah, I understand, because that's funny. After I graduated college, I went to an insurance company too, but Lord knows that's a story too. But okay, so my next question is, what does a day in the life of Courtney look like? Like, what are you doing? I know you did this one post where you was like, I just did my 3 hours, and I was like, dang, I need to do that too, just so that you can feel like you're still like having a normal life outside of, doing It Works all the time. So what does a normal day in the life of Courtney look like?
Absolutely. So like for me, I've been kind of switching it up to I'm in a phase in my business. I think that everybody goes through it. It's just trying to figure out what works, right? What's working for me? What works for me? So sometimes I'll go to Starbucks and I'll just do a 3-hour straight work week. Lately, I've been doing to-do lists. So like I do a to-do list I compile it of all the things that I need to do for the day, whether it be personal and It Works. And then I just go down my to-do list and I get things done. So I may have a day where I'm like, okay, I need to get all my It Works stuff done before 1 p.m. so that I can have the rest of the day to do X, Y, and Z. So I've been doing that. And then sometimes I just do a 3-hour straight power hour work day. So where I'll go, like I get away from my house. I'll go to Starbucks. And I do this a few times throughout the week. I'll go to Starbucks. I'll go to my local, and get that motivation, like watching all those people walking out of there with reading a day. So I'll do my reading there. Finish up my personal development. So I listen to a lot of podcasts throughout the day. So I'm constantly feeding, my mind, trying to grow, learn. That's huge for me. And then messaging, following up, to be honest with you, about working with my team. So a lot of it is just focusing on getting those messages out, doing the follow-ups, and just working my own business. I'm looking at my to-do list as I'm talking to you guys. So like it's different things go on my to-do list every day. So I may have on my to-do list, I need to get 3 customers. But yeah, I definitely make sure to-do lists have been working for me.
And so did you ever go after your maternity leave, did you go back to work after that before you retired?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I was working full time, I went back to work in January of 2017, and I was working part time in January, but then February and March I was working full time, and I was working my business, and I was promoting in those months, charting it. So I went diamond in January, then charted for double in February, then went double in March. So in those times I was working. In the months that I was promoting, I was working my job as well. So a day in the life for me when I was working was a little different. Like time was like not of the essence. It was like, time was not there for me. So I would literally wake up, in the morning, I may do a devotional, or, I may just get straight into getting my kids ready to school, honestly. Then between that time, I literally would not check my phone. Like I could not check my phone from the time I woke up until like I got my kids off to school, because it would be so distracting for me and I wouldn't be able to get my kids ready. So I dedicated that morning time to my kids and to getting them ready and getting them off to where they needed to go. It worked around 28. Literally, my son off to school, he would be the last one I have to drop on a phone call or on a live. You don't have to do this, but I like messaging people at the stoplight, stuff like that. I was like trying to cram in as much stuff as I could from my so I do lives on the way to work, just to get in. And then at work, I had 2 15-minute breaks and I had an hour lunch. On my 2 15-minute breaks, I was working, I was messaging, I was following up, I was signing customers, I was signing distributors. I was, reaching out to my distributors, talking to my distributors. On my lunch breaks, it was the same thing. Like that's what I dedicated my time to. I was pretty much working my It Works business any time that I could. Sometimes even while I was on the clock, like if somebody messaged me, text me, I was like responding. It was bad, but I was doing it. And then so after work, I would have to go get my kids. I would get off at 5. I get my kids. They're all I gotta have both of them by 5:30, and then my daughter would have some type of extracurricular activity, whether it be t-ball. She had t-ball practice Monday through Thursday, and then she had ballet on Wednesdays. So some days we were double booked. It would be from 6:30 to 8. And I would have just enough time to get them something to eat, get them fed, and get to t-ball practice because I was a t-ball mom. But that didn't stop me. Like I signed like 3 distributors off the t-ball team and customers as well, during that time. But I really couldn't, because I don't like to focus on something if I can't give it my full attention. So I wasn't really able to focus on my It Works business while I was like at t-ball practice. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'd be able to like to step away and make a call maybe, or like talk to somebody, but I would have my son with me during t-ball practice, and he was a baby. So, during that time, I wouldn't even count it as me working the business. So from like 5:30 to like 9:30 at night, that was my time with my kids. Like that time was like pretty much off limits for me. Then from 9:30 till whatever time I got done, whether it be midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I was working my business, especially during promotion months. I was messaging, that was holding team calls, that was doing one-on-ones, that was signing customers, whatever it was, sending out more messages, doing my charts. Whatever I was doing, I was cramming in that time. It's between 9:30 and whatever time I went to bed, and then I wake up the next day and I do it all again. And that was it. I think the biggest thing that kept me, one of the things that, people ask, like people are like, oh, I'm so busy. I work a 9 to 5. I got kids, blah, 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 blah. But one of the things that I stand on, and my team will tell you, this is like my thing, no excuses. No excuses at all whatsoever. And that's one of the things that's how my business thrives, especially when I first started. Like I didn't make excuses as to why I couldn't work my business. It was never a question. Like there was never, ever a question of if I was going to work my business or not. And I was telling my team just the other night, I don't think that there's been a day since I've joined that I have said I don't have time for It Works. So I caught the vision very early on in my business. I think in like the first week or 2 weeks in the business, I was like, yeah, I definitely see how I could make a lot of money in this company. I had even reached out to Alina and I was like, how can I go Ambassador Diamond? Like, I think my second week. And so I knew that this company was going to be I knew that It Works would be my bread and butter. I caught the vision. And so from there, it was like anything else was secondary. Not like my kids or whatever, but like my job, I felt like that was secondary. Even though I wasn't making, when I first went back to work, It Works wasn't paying me the same amount my job was, but I still felt like this is my top priority over this business, over this company, because I know that that It Works is going to pay me the money. This is what's going to, change my family's life, not this insurance company that I'm working for, So it was never a question. Time was never a question. I never thought twice about it. You know what I mean? I never thought twice about the fact that I didn't have that, what I had going on, or, all the stuff that I was doing. It was never a question.
Right. Yeah. Like, I guess we all kind of get that from a lot of either our team members or potential distributors that say like, well, I'm busy and I have this and I have that. And because I actually was just talking to someone and they were saying that they work 86 hours a week and they have a newborn on the way. Like, how can they work this business? And I'm like, well, the newborn should be, motivation in general. So
yeah, my son was not even, I think when I first joined this business, Chance was born on September the 6th. I joined on October the 3rd. I didn't even think about, like, that type of stuff doesn't even resonate with me. Like, oh, I have a newborn. This would be too much for me. Like, I don't think like that. Like, I never think about things being too much for me. And it's a blessing and a curse, because sometimes I could take on too much, not knowing like that, that it's too much. But it was never even like thinking about newborn. Like I didn't think about it like that. So I think that people just need to reprogram their mind. You know what I'm saying? Think about, instead of saying I work 86 hours a week, I don't have time. Think about it like I work 86 hours a week. Like I am not even able to see my newborn. You know what I mean? Like I need to change. Something needs to shift. So
exactly. Wow, my newborn is crying. All right. So my next question is, how was the journey to Double Diamond and how has it changed your family's life?
So I've been Double Diamond since March. So let's just talk about the entire journey and not just to Double, right? So Double was a piece of cake only because Double was not hard, and maybe because it was just the boom season. When I think about it, like I think I went double on the 20. I think I went double on the 26th, like even before the month was over with. But the life after Double. So one thing that I noticed was our team promoted really quickly. And we didn't realize we had no clue what we were doing. We didn't know we were promoting quickly. When I started, I went Ruby like in less than 30 days. I had no clue what I did. You know what I mean? I just knew I went Ruby and, I went Ruby. I got a $500 bonus. I knew that was great, but I didn't know that other people weren't going Ruby in less than 30 days, if that makes sense. So then, we were pushing to go Emerald. I remember at the Christmas party being upset because I hadn't tried it for Diamond in 2 months. You know what I mean? Like in December, at the end of December. And just thinking about that. And we were just promoting back to back to back. And so in March, we promoted again I promoted to Double. And then I was like promoting. So we were pretty much setting goals for ourselves and we were achieving them. Like we were doing them. So like, we would say, okay, we're going Diamond in January. Boom, we went Diamond in January. Then we were like, all right, we're charting for Double in February. In March, we're going Double. Boom, we charted for Double in February. March, we went Double. So then we were like, all right, we're charting for triple in April, and in May we're going triple. But that didn't happen. And we were like, what is going on? Like, why aren't we promoting anymore? We've been promoting so fast. Like, what's the hold up now? Because I remember I just thought it's just up from here. Like, we're just going up from here. And what it was is, like, when we first started, we were ignorance on fire. People were telling me a hundreds list. Nah, I don't need a hundreds list. My business is good. Like, I'm getting people without a hundreds list. They were saying, add new people to your network. All right, I'll add a couple people here and there, but hey, I'm good. My business is coming in. They were saying, just different stuff. Read books, personal development, stuff like that. Like, I would watch videos here and there, but just like every day, it just wasn't happening. So what happened was we were operating so deep in our warm market. Our warm market between me, Ashley, and Antonice, like our warm market was so huge. Amongst the three of us, we were pretty popular in our community of people that we have here in Jacksonville. So like our warm market was so deep. And I'll just speak for me specifically, my warm market was just so deep. And so I didn't even realize that all the way up until like May and April, I was still operating within my warm market. Every distributor that I was signing, I knew them in some shape, form, or fashion, whether we hung in the same circles or we went to elementary school together, whatever it was, I knew them. So when the warm market started to run out, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that that's what was happening. And I was now having to transition into a cold market. And it was like, now what? I can't just message somebody and they're going to say yes. Like I was messaging people and I wasn't getting the responses that I was getting, in the beginning, because these people don't know me anymore. Like, these aren't people, these are complete strangers to me. I wasn't practicing, relationship building. I wasn't commenting on people's posts. I wasn't being interactive on social media like people had been telling me to do. And I hadn't been doing it because it wasn't relevant to me at that time, because I was still, like I said, operating my warm market. People were just buying from me because they knew who I was. So the transition from cold to warm, it was hard. And it was something that took a little while for me to even realize. And I think at one point I even got burnt out, because it was like, I feel like I'm doing everything that I was doing everything that I was doing when I was operating my warm market, and it just wasn't working anymore. And so then I had to take a step back and say, okay, let me go back to the basics. Let me go back to figuring out how to just simply complete steps to success. Let me go back to this hundreds list that they've been raving about and see how this works. Let me start reading books like they've been telling me to do for months. Let me start, doing all of these things that they have been telling me to do. And then that's when I started to realize this is what network marketing really is. And I think that some people just don't have a strong warm market. So when they get in, they don't boom like they think they're going to, right? And then maybe it takes them a little bit more time to take off, or some people just quit because they're like, this is too hard. Then some people just take a little bit too more time to take off. And then you have some people like me who just boom right out the door. And it's like warm market is good and you're like booming, booming, booming. And then business stops booming like it used to. And when people get to that point, they're like, it's not working anymore. It's not fun anymore. I'm not excited anymore. I'm burnt out. People aren't buying from me like they used to. It's saturated. There's too many people, blah, blah, blah. But really that's not the case. Is that transition from warm to cold, and you have to recognize that. And then you have to switch it up. You have to figure out, all right, I'm operating in my cold market now. Let me figure this thing out. And so that's when I really started to get into the network marketing. What is network marketing? networking, adding 300 people on Instagram a day, 100 to 300 people on Instagram a day, adding new people to my Facebook, commenting on people's posts, being interactive with my post, showing my true self, being me, showing a little bit more of my life than what I usually was, that attraction marketing. I had to take a step back and reteach myself what I hadn't learned from the beginning, if that makes sense. So that's been my journey. So now it's like I am finally in the place where it's like, okay, I get it. Like, I get what network marketing is. I'm kind of getting in the groove. And that's what I was saying from the beginning. Now I'm just kind of figuring out what's working for me. How can I make this thing work for me? And, so that's a little bit, that's the story right now. And it's still being written. So it's not over, still in the process of like figuring it out. And I think you're always going to get to a point where it's like, okay, let's kind of regroup. Let's figure this thing out. Let's stop and let's figure out what's working, what's not working. What was I good at? What was I not good at? And so on and so forth. Does that make sense?
Yes, that was a mouthful, okay. And clearly you saw someone saying it sounds familiar.
Okay.
Like that was how I was too, because when I had first came in, I have, went from executive to Emerald and within 2-3 months. So I was fast too. But then once I was trying to hit Diamond, it was like that warm market just completely crashed. So, and then too, Katrina Ferguson, the FDR, I don't know if you know, but she had just said yesterday about that. She said that, what took us to Diamond, Double Diamond, or whatever we have promoted to won't be the same thing that takes us to that next level. So I'm glad.
Or the people.
Exactly. Or the people. Definitely.
And that's something else that's something else that you have to come to terms with, because the people that took me from Ruby to Emerald to Diamond to Double Diamond were pretty much all the same people. They were pretty much all the same people. So because we moved so fast, it was like our team was building, and as our team was building, we were promoting. So the same people were with us along that journey. And so when they started to fall off, we were trying to keep them. We were like, no, don't go, and trying to try to get them to work, focusing on them, getting them to work. And that hurt more than it helped, because it's like, it's a cycle and people are going to fall off. Everybody's not meant to do this long term, and it's seasonal. Some people are seasonal. So when they want to leave, and I give people like 3 good tries. If you are really good and I see potential in you, I'm going to try to talk you off the ledge. Like, listen, I see potential in you. You are amazing. Let's try to make this thing work. And then they say, okay, I'm going to run again. And then they kind of fall back. I'm going to give them one more try. That third try is going to be okay, love, I understand. I'm not going to try to like keep you, because I can't. I'm not going to try to keep you. I'm not going to keep, rubbing your back. It's going to be okay. Like that, because for those people who are going to have to continuously do that, and everybody's not going to like you for it. They're going to feel like, oh, she got double and she don't want to fool with me no more. She Emerald now and she thinks she high and mighty, and they may feel some type of way. Let those people go. Let them go. And you know what I mean? Because it's a cycle. It is seasonal. Like, I can't keep doing this with you because I'm putting more pressure on myself. That's more of pressure on me trying to get you to work. Like, it doesn't help me to continuously try to rebuild you and like motivate you and inspire you. Like, at some point you got to do that on your own. And if I have to keep doing that for you, then I'm gonna let you go on about your business. And then when you're ready, and if you want to work, then you'll come back. And you'll come back to me and ask me for my help, but I'm not going to continuously reach out to you. Like, so that's something that I had to stop doing, and just being okay with saying, okay, being okay with people saying they don't want to work. And like, we were trying to promote with people who weren't really trying to run. And just because they were in places and their team was built out, we were like trying to rebuild them. Girl, just get some more customers. And they were like, okay, but they weren't really trying to do nothing, and, so yeah, Let those people go. Some people, you know, the same thing that gets you to diamond, double, triple, whatever, or same thing that gets you, that same thing that got you to ruby will not get you to double. I can tell you that. But yeah, and the same people will not either.
Sorry, my daughter had clicked the charge everything. Okay. All right. So yeah, that was a word, literally. So my next question just talks about consistency, which you kind of already explained that to us and told us, you know, what you're doing to stay consistent. So what tips do you have for those that say they don't have time? Like if someone was to say, you know, well, I know you said already, you know, that you already have that spirit where you don't say that, but what if someone is like that good, but they're just saying, you know, they just don't have time, they're doing this, they're doing that, you know, or even a potential, like what do you say to them?
To be honest, like if they're already a distributor, then I try to break it down for them. I break it down for them. I say, okay, well, let's go through your schedule. Let's see what, you know, what your schedule looks like. What your schedule looks like. I mean, not a potential, but a distributor. If they're a distributor of mine, then I'll say, okay, let's do some time management. Let's have a one-on-one and let's talk about your schedule and let's try to see what we can fit this business in. You know, the other thing that I like to tell people when they're like they're too busy, you're perfect for this. You're perfect. You're busy, perfect. People who aren't busy usually don't do well in this business because they have nobody to talk to. If you're busy, that means you're around people constantly, you know, and because you're around people constantly, those are the more people that you have that you could talk to, you know. And so I tell people that a lot is like, oh, you're a nurse? Perfect. You work 12-hour shifts with a bunch of women? Psh, it's a piece of cake. Like you got it in the bag. And I try to make them see what advantage they have over people who aren't nurses, you know, stuff like that. So I try to make it play in their favor. And then the other thing is I like to tell people that say I don't have time is like, what do you mean? This is a lifestyle. It's not just, you know, okay, now I got a lot of time, you know, to work my business, like which we should. But like as far as posting goes and things like that, this is just an everyday thing. You are living the blitz. You are living the It Works lifestyle. People aren't buying the products. They're buying you. They're buying you using them. They're buying what you say they do. They're not. I'm so sorry, y'all. After I've talked for so long, I don't know what it is. My nose starts itching so bad. All right. So, but yeah, people are buying you. They're buying this It Works lifestyle. You know what I mean? If you're using the products, then you should have no problem making time. I tell people I use products daily. If I'm using products daily, then at least I could post about them. I'm scrolling on Instagram anyway. You're scrolling on Facebook anyway. Why not make a post? You're going to make an Insta story, a Snapchat. Snap something that's going to make you some money, you know? Put an Insta story up of something that's going to make you some money. I do Insta stories all the time. So guess what? I'm going to record me washing my face and doing a facial so everybody can see what I do. So it's not like, oh, buy the products. You know, it's like, this is what I'm using. What do you think? Did it work? Do you see something? You know? So it's a lifestyle. It's not just, and I always tell my team, like, I could tell when you're separating your business from your life. I could tell. It shows because you're robotic. In your posts, you're robotic in your approach to people, and your approach to the business is just like not genuine. You know, you don't have a genuine, sorry, I'm trying to pull this chair up so I can keep my feet up. But you're not genuine. And, you know, so I tell people that too. And also the other thing about not having time is I don't play into that. A lot. And for some people, I just say, okay. And I'll tell you why. You have to be discerning about people that you want in your business. So some people I'll try to kind of talk to them, but some people I'm like, all right, love, you know, and let it go, because I'm not trying to convince you. If that makes sense. And like, I'm not going to beg you to be a part of my business. Like, I'm trying to help you. You know what I mean? And some people, when they already have this mindset of I don't have time, they already are, you're already at a disadvantage with them, if that makes sense. Does it make sense? Because they're going to come in with those same type of excuses. And I don't do excuses. I don't like excuses. If you're already a distributor and you say you don't have time, and I break down your schedule for you and tell you how to incorporate It Works into your business, and then you still tell me you don't have time, I'm going to tell you, okay, love. That's my favorite response. Okay, love. Because you have to want it. That tells me that you have not developed a passionate something. You are not anchored in this business. And in order for you to be successful, I don't care what anyone says, it says in order for you to be successful in this business, you have to have a why that anchors you into this business. To where you're going to say, I don't care what I have going on in life, I'm going to make time for this. Because my why is so strong, I'm so passionate about what my why is, I'm going to make time for this business. So because of that, you have to have a certain desperation, and some people don't have it. And those people, they may be good, but they may be seasonal. And if they're saying they don't have time, then hey, I might just have to let you go. And when you're ready and when you're, passionate about this, you'll come back and you'll work. But I'm not going to keep trying to convince you that you have time if you've already made up in your mind that you don't. Maybe you're just not ready for this. Some people just don't have the mindset. And I had a conversation with one of my distributors, and I was I tell them all the time, I'm like big brother. I see everything. So I could kind of tell when, things are off or you're not on your A game. And I had a conversation with her because she has great potential. And I was like, I could tell that there's no passion. I could tell that this isn't a priority for you. I could tell that. And she's like, yeah, it's just not fun, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, the issue is you're good. You're complacent where you are. And making time for this business is not a priority for you because you're good. She's an accountant. I'm pretty sure her husband makes decent money. They take trips. Their kids are, well taken care of. So extra money is just I can make some extra money, if it works, pay me some extra money. That'd be cool. You know what I mean? And, so I was like, that mindset that you have, that's what's, keeping you from being successful in this business. You have to figure out a why that's bigger than just extra money. You have to figure out what am I really doing this for? And so I had to break that down for her. And I said, when you figure out what this business can really do for you, because I think that people, the bigger picture of paying off hundreds of thousands of debt, buying your dream home, traveling the world. Those are just dreams. People really have a hard time making those into goals. But what I told her is once you break down those barriers and those limitations and you really think of what this business could do for you, that is when your business is going to start transforming. That's when you're going to develop that passion. That's when you're going to be anchored in the business and you're going to make this business a priority in your life, So when people say they don't have time, of course, I'm not buying it. And then it sounds like something was tapping on my wall. Am I losing it? Maybe it's my son. But I'm not, for one, I'm not buying it. And then for two, it's just, some people just aren't ready for what this business, what this business is really about. So, because honestly, it don't take that much time.
It don't. It really doesn't. And I like that you said anchored. That's what I had actually just said yesterday. I think it was. I was like, we have to find our passion in this business. And it has to be way more than money because, the money can come and go. So.
Yeah. And I tell them you have to when people say I don't have a passion for this business, I don't have a passion for health and wellness, I don't either. I didn't have a passion for, like I tell people, I didn't even know what It Works was. Like I had no idea what this business was, no idea what a wrap was. And then I tell people, by the grace of God, it actually worked. You know, when I got it and I put it on, thank God it worked. Thank God the stuff actually did work so that I could, promote it without a guilty conscience, So, but yeah, I don't have a passion for health and wellness. I have a passion for impacting lives and changing my family's life and building a legacy for my family. I have a passion for opening up other businesses, empowering women. Like that's what my passion is. It Works is just the vehicle. It Works is just going to get me there. I don't have a passion for, wraps and getting skinny, or else I'd be like my ideal weight, but I'm not, and that's because I don't have a passion for it. I have a passion for changing, life-changing things. So because that is my passion and that's what I'm tying my passion to, it's easy for me to get out there and work that business. It's a no-brainer for me to get out there and work this business, so that's what it's all about. You have to find something deeper than this business. Love It Works, be about It Works, but it's not all about It Works. And I don't know, people don't like to say that, but it's not all about It Works. It Works is not the end all be all. This is the foundation. This is the vehicle. This is the investment vehicle. Like I look at the Ronnie Browns and the Mia Rays, like It Works pays their bills. Like It Works probably pays them more than a lot of the other businesses that they have. And it's the vehicle that has gotten them to where they are. And now they are making like more than over six figures, over 100,000. Mine is a millionaire because they have tied in so many different things just based off of this It Works being the foundation. So that's what you have to think about. And I often ask people like, what do you want to do? If you could do anything in this world, what would it be? If you could do absolutely anything, there was no limitations, nothing stopping you, money wasn't an issue, what would it be? All right, boom, that's your why. Let's figure out how you're going to get there. How much money do you need to save every single month to achieve that? Boom, that's how much you need to save. It Works. Let's get there. Let's get to this point where you're able to accomplish this goal. You know what I mean? If that's what's going to be the driving force in your life. If it's, I just want to be able to take care of my parents. All right. How much does it cost for you to take care of your parents? Let's figure that out. How much is it going to cost? How much money are you going to have to save? How much extra money are you going to have to make so that you can afford to take care of yourself and your parents? So once we're able to break that down and tie this business to something bigger than just ourselves and just extra money, then everything begins to change. Everything shifts.
Whew, I hope my team is hearing this, Lord. Okay, and then so my last question is, how do wait, no, that's not my last question. Well, yeah, well, I'll make this my last question because you actually already answered that. So let's just say, can you share 3 tips with us that you just feel like either helped you along the way or that can help someone else along the way? I mean, you've already given us plenty of nuggets, but just 3 simple tips that you feel like would just help someone get there.
Personal development is huge. Always, you need to develop a passion for learning, being a sponge. How can you learn more? What can you be doing more? Reading, listening to podcasts, reading books, like that's huge. If you're not practicing personal development, you won't be successful. And I say that with such conviction. Like if you're not practicing personal development, you won't be successful. What else? Be coachable. You have not arrived. None of us have. You have not arrived. Don't ever feel like you have. Don't ever feel like you're at a point where you can't listen to your upline or your sideline sister. Don't ever get to a point where you're not capable of taking advice from someone. Always be coachable. If you're not coachable, again, you won't be successful. And I say that with conviction as well. Like, you won't be successful because if you are not able to learn from someone, then how could you ever grow? And that's the whole thing. Like, we got to continuously be growing, and you become stagnant if you're not coachable, if you're not humble enough to receive criticism and, all that. Then the other thing is being consistent. I guess, no brainer, I guess. Being consistent in your everyday business. Don't feel like, don't feel like you're going to be able to work hard for 2 weeks straight and then everything's just going to be back up to normal. Like, everything's going to be great. Don't work 2 weeks straight. And then I had a girl say, I'm going to give it this month, but if it don't work this month, I'm like, this month? Like, this month, this all you got? Like, don't feel like that you could just give it a little bit of time and like, oh, it's not working. No, you have to be consistent. People are watching you. They're watching you because they have seen so many other people join these type of businesses and not do well, or they quit. And they're waiting on you to do the exact same thing. So the moment you stop posting, the moment you stop messaging, the moment you stop being consistent in your business, you lose their trust and you lose their faith in you. You become fickle, so you want to make sure that you are consistent in your business from here forth. Forget what you've done in the past. Forget what you've done in the past and just keep moving forward. That's it. And then one other thing, because consistency is just something everyone says, don't forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. These are for the people that are like me and you're super, super, super hard on yourself. Forgive yourself. And understand that every decision that you've made up until this point was on purpose, whether it be right or wrong, and don't beat yourself up for it and don't regret it. Just realize that I made this decision, whether it be right, whether it was a right or wrong decision, it was made and it was an experience. I've now learned from it, move on. And that was something that I would like focus on, about the decisions that I made. Was it a good decision? Was it a bad decision? Stop worrying about whether it was a good or bad decision. It's just the results. We are a result of our decision making. We are results of every outcome that we have is a result of our decision making. So be okay. Make the decision. Learn from the outcome, whether it be good or bad. It's an experience. Had you not made that decision, you'd have never, if it was if the outcome came out, the consequence was bad, then guess what? You learned from it. Had you not made that wrong decision, you would have never knew that it was wrong, so you cannot make it again. So forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for whatever you've done, whatever you did in the past, whatever didn't work out, whatever wrong decision it was. Learn from it, move on. That's it.
Thank you. I'm happy that we ended before 10:30, just to see if anyone has any questions before we let you go. And we can open up the line. I saw a few people commenting, and I was trying to keep up with them, but I don't see any questions. Yeah, I don't see any questions in there. So if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask her. If we don't have any questions. All right. Well, I guess nobody has any questions, concerns, thank yous, anything like that. So we thank you so much, Courtney. This was definitely something we needed to hear for sure. So I hope you have a good night, and we are cheering you on to triple presidential ambassador.
Same here. It is going to be like a tough road, but we are on our way.
Yep, exactly.
All right. Thank you all so much for having me. Everybody have a great night.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.